So here we are, stage 8 of the FRR Racing Tour Britannia. This is the Syco-list. Let's get on with it. So joining me today for stage 8 of the FRR Racing Tour of Britannia. It's an individual time trial today on the Harrogate reverse circuit, 2 laps of that. Obviously all riders today in multiple pens have all started at the same time as per the other ITTs that we've done. So yeah, all categories mixed and all pens started together. So it's 125 riders in this one. The Harrogate circuit reverse is an 8.5 mile circuit, 13.7 kilometers, 245 meters or 804 feet of elevation per lap. And consistent in that, you've got the Yorkshire sprint reverse and the Yorkshire com reverse as segments to get ourselves through. Then this one was going to be hilly, to try and persevere on the climbs and push on the descents and hopefully get some chance of having some rest in there. So with this video today, it is me and the bike just getting on with doing my own thing. And as the climbs come, I just know that I've just got to try and sit in and do my thing. My plan for today's race was to try and hold an average of 275 watts throughout the race, which will give me somewhere around about 3.5 watts per kilo. That sort of worked well for me trying to manage it. I have gone off a bit quick on this one. I knew that I would because of the multiple people in the pens, and I love to chase people down when I can, but I'll soon settle in and get myself sorted and hopefully get into my own race, my own managing of my own race. But at the moment, sitting nicely, just getting on with it as we go over the first climb on the day. So just pushing through now to the top of this climb with a sprint banner at the top of it, which makes no sense because it's giving me no data for a segment at the top here. Just push through that now. Set myself a PR, but I don't know what, because it doesn't give me the time for what I've achieved, but as a PR anyway over the top of that one. And now onto some of the descents where I get a chance for a bit of respite. Coming up to 5 minutes into this race, averaging 314 watts, which I know will decrease as we get into some more of the hills further on. Not really getting much respite on a TT bike on the descents. There's no aero tuck available on the TT bike, so bottom of that one, turn the right hand bend there, and we're back into another 5% rise. Using the heads up display when I was racing really helped me again, looking at that to sort of see where I can put harder efforts in on the steeper bits and then try and recover a little bit on the less steep bits. So here, sitting at a 2% gradient, just sitting back in and just trying to keep the pressure on the pedals, keep myself turning over. As we manage this, people will come past me, I know that, because there's different categories racing with us, but you get no benefits from sitting on a wheel or being next to anybody, so it's you against the clock really. So again with today's session, using the Wahoo kicker bike on the Omni rocker. So as you can see in the video in the bottom left corner, you can see that my bike is rocking underneath me. That's because the Omni rocker allows me to rock and move backwards and forwards to give you that simulation of being out on the road on your road bike. I've got the Wahoo kicker set up so that it will increase the percentage of the bike's angle as we go through these climbs, again just to give me that realistic feel of being out on the road and on a 4% climb as we are now. Just going to get to the top of this one, gradually dropping down in the placings, 36th at the moment, but I know that's not the overall placings for the GC that I'm competing in the category HAB. So yeah, just going to push on through, get through this one, averaging 312 watts at the minute, 8.5 minutes into this race. So through that com banner and then hopefully get some descent. So I pushed the video on through there on the descent section, not a lot happening, just trying to get down that as quick as I can for as least effort as possible. So as soon as you get to the bottom and turn that bend, we're straight into another climb. This one 7.5% amber segment before we go into the yellow segment, which will come down to about 3 or 4%. Again, this course in Yorkshire, quite hilly. It seems like the courses on this series have been quite hilly, which is good training for me. Really keeping myself motivated. This series has definitely helped me get on top of my training and given me 10 days to focus and get myself set up ready for winter training. Normally I would do one race a week within my training package, but I've spoken to my coach and I've sort of said that I was going to do this 10-day series as a bit of a challenge to myself, see how I feel, see how the legs feel before I go back into my winter training program. For a first series, obviously 8 days into it now, feeling quite good. My legs are feeling quite good. I am struggling on some of these hill segments, but that's just down to my watts per kg. Trying at the moment to tackle getting my weight down a bit, back to racing weight after a few holidays this year, but I'm getting there slowly and I'm willing to put the work in. So push over this climb, make the most of the descent and see where we go from there. So as you can see there, someone's commented, can you super tuck on time trials? Literally no, there's no aero benefit from getting a super tuck on a time trial bike. So on the descents, you've got to try and keep pedaling to keep the power on, to keep your speed up. Obviously naturally momentum will take you down the hills and it's simulated on Zwift, but yeah, there's no aero tuck on a TT bike. You stay in your aero position. I don't know how these people have got the time to be messaging whilst racing, because I clearly wouldn't be able to write anything at the moment. But just chasing down this descent, just trying to keep the watts on. more climbs coming, as you can see, as the heads up display flashes bright yellow, orange, and darker orange as well. So a big climb coming, and time to get on with that one. So this has probably been one of the toughest climbs on the circuit. Points of it have been at 14-15%, especially on those switchbacks. Just going through an 8% rise at the moment. But yeah, just literally pushing in, not giving up, not getting out the saddle too much. Just trying to get the watts down, trying to keep my cadence higher than normal. At the moment, sort of pushing 87 on my cadence, 88 as we get onto the top of this steeper segment. Still pushing out the watts, averaging 300 watts over 16 minutes is not too bad. But again, I know that people will come past me, but in my head it's like, don't worry about that. You get no benefits from them being in front of you. You can't draft from them. You can't get an aero benefit from them being in front of you. So don't worry about it. They're all in different categories. If a rider comes past me and they're in the same category as me, I will chase that down because they're in the same category. But at the moment, I'm not seeing that. So once I know that there's a rider in front that is in my category, I probably will chase it down. But at the moment, I'm just doing my own thing. It's me against the clock. So this is the final little rise on the first lap. 9% at the moment, just pushing through this. Going to push over the top of this climb, take on the descent and complete lap 1, and then I get the joy of repeating it all again for lap 2, but at least I know it a little bit better now. I know where the segments are for the climbs and what they're like, but I'm guaranteed that my average watts will drop on the second lap. So just push on over the top here, take the descent, take the start finish line for the end of lap 1 and move on to lap 2. So here we are, just crossing over the banner now for the end of lap 1. 23 minutes into this race, 1 lap down, 8.5 miles covered, 804 feet of climbing, and I've averaged about 290 watts for that first lap. I'm sort of happy with that. My goal is 275 average for the whole thing. But what I'll do is I'll run this video now at a bit quicker pace just to take you through the second lap. The hills and spills are going to be the same until we get towards the end, and then I'll slow it down and talk you through the finish and how that went for me. So I've just seen the hills have come again, coming onto the bottom of another one now. This is towards the end. We've got 3 miles left in this individual time trial. My watts has come down to 278 average, 38 minutes into this race. But here we go, 15% are kicking in, and I've got to just grind out the last bit of this race and see where I am coming to the top of this climb. There's a rider behind me at the moment. It's in my category that's a second behind me. So if that rider catches me on this, then I need to try and push down. Here they go. So this rider just passed me here is in my same category as me. So ideally I don't want to lose the place to him on this race, because overall I don't know where we are in GC, but just in my head it's like he's the same category as me, so I need to race against him and finish above him in the time trial. So yeah, just pushing on. Gradient's come down to 9% now, and that rider's putting some seconds into me and pulling away quite easily. I'm doing about 2.9 watts per kilo. That rider in front's doing 4.3 watts per kilo, but obviously that doesn't show what watts we're actually putting out. It's just our weight per kilo or watts per kilo. So see what I'll have to do. I'll have to push hard on the descent if the gap's not that big. So that rider in the same category as me has now put 6 seconds into me, and is 6 seconds down the road. So I've got 2.7 miles to try and see if I can close that gap and not let anybody else come past me that's in my category. 51st place at the moment in this time trial, but like I said, it's a mixed category, so at the end it should give us our result for our category. But I know that if I can catch that rider that's now 7 seconds down the road, then I get that place back. So on the downhill segment, I'm not easing off the pedals, still putting in the watts. 2 miles to go. I'm still trying to chase down that rider in my category. So I'm making an effort and a dig on the descents, not to sit up and rest. Literally 2 miles to go, so I just need to push on and see if I can close that gap at all. I know there's going to be another little rise in a minute, but then it's fairly flat into the finish. So once I get over this one, see what the damage is, see how many seconds he's got on me, and I'll have to see if I can attack it. So there you go, just coming over the top of that final climb. 1.3 miles left in this race, and I've still got a gap to close down if I want to get back that extra place. I think it's about 3 seconds now. I'm still on the pedal, still pushing over the top of this climb, thinking if they ease off then I can gain. So I've pushed on over the top, hoping that I can get some seconds back. It's down to 2 seconds now and I'm still chasing with just over a mile to go. Just taking a bit of a breather here. I've done a bit of an effort. I've put in a little sprint to try and close the gap. This is the rider that's in my category that I was trying to chase down. Just going past them now. Back on the pedals, just a bit of a soft pedal at the moment. And 0.6 of a mile to go. So let's see if we can bring this home and finish above that rider. They're not giving me any distance. They're back on their pedals as well by the looks of it, and we're putting out about the same watts per kilo, and I've not put any seconds in them, but I've gone past them. So back out the saddle here, short little effort, seated again, just trying to see if I can just get a slight gap. There you go, that little effort's given me a second on that rider behind me now. Just closing in on the one in front of me as well. Final kick round this left hand bend, and there's the finishing line ahead. Out the saddle, little kick, not a massive sprint, I haven't got a lot left in the legs, but my average watts per kilo is going to be around what I wanted, and we're going to cross the finish line. Let's see what the results say. So finished in 7th place in my category, 281 watts average, which is a 3.6 watts per kilo. It's not a bad day's racing. Thanks for watching this video. If you've liked it, please click that like button, click that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.